on, and for them to see this as, you know, a shared experience and a lived experience. Sorry. Another thing is a lot of capacity building, so that you train the youth. We also train a lot of community health volunteers, so that even if we are not there, then these conversations, this activism can still go on. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Judge. I know you already said my name, but I first of all would like to thank you and your team for giving me this opportunity to be here, to share this platform with fellow young people for this very transformative conversation. And specifically to Amara, I went to the university with her. She used to sit next to me until we graduated. So I'm very happy that she recognized me and invited me on this platform. But beside that, we have a lot of issues down there at the communities and nationally in the country. So it takes a lot for people to come out and express themselves, speak their mind out. And to begin with, it starts with betrayal of the cause, a betrayal on the part of government and the actors that stand for those causes. And number two is that upon betrayal, then action takes in. So a lot is going to happen. A lot has happened, and maybe will happen in the future because of betrayal on the part of players, specifically in government and and even in community as a whole. So perhaps my brief response to your big question.
Well, I appreciate that. It's a very broad question, but I did want to kind of set a tone, because when I talk about a moment of creative activism, I'm struck by the fact that, we've heard from a lot of artistic people and people who are working directly in the arts. That's their stock and trade. And there's a lot of us who like to use the arts, or are passionate about the arts and creativity. But, we have other things that we do, we other interests or other ways that we pay the bills. And you guys are a great example of the fact of how you can incorporate that creativity and that spirit into the day-to-day work, whether it's activism or doing communications work like you and I do, to try to incorporate that. Talaso, would you prefer I use that name? Yes, okay. Talaso, you talked about your work with women and girls in Marzabit, and you mentioned storytelling, and I think your work shows the power of that. Can you just talk for a second of how art has helped transform the harmful practices that we're seeing into some community-driven change?
So we have been using storytelling as the art that we are, like I've said, once we share, storytelling is, it humanizes these experiences, experiences like early marriages, like fistula survivors. So once these women come out and share their stories, it's easy for those other women who are dealing with the same issues for them to relate to it and also come out and seek help whenever possible. So storytelling, basically, the bottom line is storytelling humanizes this experience and make them very relatable.
That's great. Talaso, I'm sorry, I'm going to you in just a second, but we had another panelist who was supposed to be here, Elvis, and I know you've done work with him in the past on climate justice issues, which is another interest of yours, I understand. So if you wouldn't mind for just a second, putting yourself in his shoes for a second, and because we had a question about climate justice, which is, you know, obviously extremely important, especially to the younger generation. But the topic can feel technical at times. It's very complicated. And so my question to you is, how have you used kind of your indigenous knowledge and your community voices to inspire sustained action around that? If you could just talk briefly about what you've experienced.
All right. For that project, I just came in a different aspect, but we had a project with Elvis around Amboseli area, and there has been a lot of deforestation around that area. Mm-hmm. And because of that, people normally use that to do a lot of charcoal burning. But now we decided to instill skills for those women living around those conservancies in Amboseli as an alternative source of income. So they make such bracelets that I'm wearing for them to get an alternative source of income, and also encourage them to plant trees and not, cut them down. So that's the aspect of now building skills and getting an alternative source of income for them not to cut trees. And yeah. So
it's like a three-pronged solution, right? You've created a source of income. You're helping the environment. You're encouraging the planting of trees, and you're creating. Look at those bracelets. Bracelets are beautiful, and that's art. That's creating art and kind of doing those things in various ways. So a lot of times, I think when we think about art and activism, we think of kind of direct activism, or in music, musicians who directly challenge the system through song and lyrics. So that's really impressive. Thank you, Hudson. Now, your focus, if I'm correct, is on communication and youth mobilization, right? So my question to you is, what strategies, just two or three that you can think of, help advocacy networks remain strong but also evolve over time?
To begin with is to embed our advocacy and community movements into community leadership, so that it has ownership all the way from the grassroots. Because if it doesn't get grassroots ownership, then it goes nowhere. So we, in the works we've been doing, especially with young people, and the project we've been working on, particularly in the area of ensuring that youth have access to opportunities, even in governance, trainings and such like. We have tried to embed these issues in local spheres. That, I think, is just one of the strategies that we have employed. And number two is we try to put up these issues in linkage with policy initiatives, because we don't just want to run a movement just for the sake of it. We don't just want to be activists who end up doing nothing. In the end, we want to influence policy. We want to influence the systemic change of how things happen across the country.
So to follow up with that, and Salasso, I'd like to hear from you on this too. Well, both. Well, let me start with him, and then sorry, I do, but I was just saying I want to hear from on this too, because you have cultural, political, systemic barriers that can stall your progress, right? Like that's the movement work is inherently just constantly running up against barriers until they eventually break. Talk about what creative approaches, if you have any specifics in mind, that you've seen actually help to, if not fully dismantle, at least kind of break through or disrupt these barriers.
The issue of education and training to those involved in this advocacy, and particularly in art and in advocacy. So it comes in as an icebreaker, because it therefore gives like the way forward on where do we want to go, where are we coming from, and what do we want to achieve. So a lot of training, a lot of strategic collaborations with partners, a lot of community engagement, decentralization of artwork and these advocacy affairs. That, I think, are some of the strategies we can use to pull up this.
Same question to you.
So just like I said, I think community ownership, when you let the community lead the change, then it's very easy to disseminate that information, especially to communities that are very conservative, like where I come from. So when you also use community elders and the religious leaders, because once those people are part of this advocacy that you're doing, then it's easy for you to reach to, the most remote part of Marsabit. So that's the two ways I'm using.
So it becomes the new way of thinking becomes the reality of the community, because the community is walking the walk, as it were. Oh, that's excellent. And I have one question. I have two more questions, but I do want to let the folks here in the room ask questions if they have any. But and if you are still struggling with it, that's fine, because it's something I struggle with too, which is measuring impact. It's always a challenge. Like, how do you know what you're doing is working, and how do you measure it? How, when folks like me or anybody else ask you to define the impact of what you've done, how do you communicate that answer and say, here's the change?
Well, we look at how far are we, how have we, what have we achieved so far, and is this course still sustainable? Is it going on? But more of it is the continuity of that advocacy, or the continuity of that project you'll be running, is what really explains to the world, or to those people interested, how how sustainable it has been, how impactful it has been. So it's all about how much have you gone as a team, as a group, and how much have you gained from that whole exercise?
I think for me it's reception, because like I said, my community is very, very conservative. So it's very hard for you to just come and, do away or impose some things. Most of these things are part of their culture. So the early marriages, FGM, it's part and parcel of their culture. But now, if you, just like I said, engage community elders and leaders, then you can see open-mindedness and them changing their mind. So I measure impact by how receptive they are to now slowly changing these retrogressive cultures.
Right, and just I'd have just share very quickly something from my space. One of my team members runs what we have at our office called the Junior Defender Program, which we go into different schools and we teach kids, high school kids and middle school kids, about the justice system and the pitfalls of our justice system in the United States, and who it impacts. And what we try to do with them, for example, is we give them these projects, these advocacy projects to take to their school. And in many instances, matter of fact, one that always sticks out for me is one school had a no cell phone policy. You couldn't bring cell phones to school, but as you know today, it's a necessary tool, but they were confiscating them at the door. But through advocacy and through this project with the Junior Defenders, they actually got just one school, not the whole district, but just one school to change that policy, because they did a whole presentation and used the skills that they learned. And I think that's kind of what you're talking about. You make it part of the school culture, and then hopefully over time you'll see more and more schools start to change that policy, and it'll spread. Does anybody here have any questions that they want to ask the panel? Oh, got one here. Hold on.
Thank you again for this opportunity to ask a question. I want to address the one to address my question to be Hudson Amenya, who in the picture has wear the same shirt as mine in terms of color. And my question to Mr. Hudson, because there is this disconnection between Sautia Ground and the people who are working for us, the Sautia Ground. Like there's a disconnection. I'll take an example for the 10,000 youths who are in State House. Were you one of them?
No, not at all.
Okay. Okay, what they were given motorbikes, PA system, tents and chairs. They have reached the ground. I have Nani as evidence. They have reached. Also, our team were given sewing machines. They have reached. So, my question is this, and it's good you've said of impact as the last in his statement, because those things have come to the ground and now they have caused division amongst the youths. So, where do you come up and where will you measure that impact as the advocacy you are doing? Because it's like the guy has won. He has brought division amongst the youth through those giving and everything, and you are the advocates. So where do you come in and how will you measure that impact in terms of that division and that disconnection between Sautia Ground and you people who are working for us?
Thank you, Michael. First of all, I would abduct the artist behind this photo. But I think it's very unfortunate, the way you're saying, it's very unfortunate what happened at State House. We saw a display of so many things in the name of empowerment. And I'm told the young people ended up living with only 3,000 shillings and mkate na soda in their stomach. So I think what is left between us is to expose leaders as they should be exposed. And the president, not an exception. It is, betrayal on his part. It is laziness on the part of those who misadvise the president. If you want to empower young people, and especially using, the kind of things, he wanted to share with young people, the border borders, the water tanks, whatever. I think he would have chosen some of the most vulnerable young people in the community. But what we're going to do is to stand firm on these issues. We'll have to speak them out. We have to tell the president and the leadership as it is. And that will be our work as advocates for youth affairs, but also you want to build a network of young people like yourself, bring up a national conversation on what we should do, or what should be done on as far as youth empowerment and creation of employment is concerned. Because I think that's what the president wanted to address, and that's the picture he wanted to paint, but flopped as soon as it had arrived.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for that question and answer.
Thank you. Thank you so much, and salutations to both of our panelists. You've had very immense and wonderful contributions to the discussion. I just wish to chime in on the discussion the both of them are having, and I note with a lot of regret the continuous disdain that these successive governments, and heavily this one, has for the youth. Because for me, I do not look at youth as one compact constituency. I look at the youth constituency as a dynamic group of people with various dichotomies. There are youth who are empowered education-wise, economic-wise, and there are those who are not empowered in those ways. There are youth who reside in the rural areas, there are those who reside in the urban areas, and you cannot put all of them together. And therefore, this system has continuously continued to disdain the youth and compact them into one constituency, which is taken to the peripheries of the economic structure of the society. They first began with a campaign promise of youth carrying wheelbarrows. It is not all of us who are condemned to carrying wheelbarrows. There are youth who have gone to school, they have degrees, master's degrees. Those are people who qualify to be in the corporate area. You cannot then call them and give them machines, give them motorbikes, and you say that that is empowerment. In short, what I'm trying to say is that for me, my understanding of empowerment is the government creating equitable systems whereby all the youth are going to benefit equitably, and where every youth is going to benefit in a way that it is in concomitance with their aspirations, their qualifications, and where they are at in life. This issue of compacting youth into one group that is disadvantaged and is supposed to be condemned to perpetual struggles and disadvantage, and so that we can continue being, you know, at the mercy of the political class, is not welcome. It is something that we also need to bring to the attention of the political actors. Also, this gifting is an act of performativeness when it comes to political actors. And performativeness is a form of abuse. It is a form of abuse and political manipulation, and as we have seen, it is actually being taken to the community level and causing a lot of strife and division, because not everybody is benefiting from the giftings that are being given. And so now they succeed in divide and rule tactic and weakening the youth voices. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, Alice. Any other questions from the audience? Oh, here we go.
Okay. Hi, good afternoon. Sorry for coming late a little bit. My name is Dr. Antelo. I am also a youth leader, national youth leader, and also the founder of the Go Green organization. The Go Green is actually an inspiration that came to me some around 20 years ago, but especially around 2010 or 2011 there, when the late Wangari Maathai inspired me a lot to bring some change. One of them was being when she was actually pushing the activism of environmental sustainability, environmental policies, and so on, and even human rights. So this also inspired me a lot to begin also to take some legal change, transitioning a change mission. And one of them is actually also to start an organization. So I am the founder of the Go Green organization, which is a youth-led organization. When I talk about youth-led, I want to talk about the key mission and vision objectives of Go Green. And what are we going to, or what did we came up with mindset, which actually I love a lot. I am still a youth too, although I might not tell you how old I am, but I'm a youth. Yeah. So we came up with a project which is youth owned, which is dealing with environmental sustainability, the innovation research, and also mentorship. When I'm talking about mentorship, we deal with mentorship of leadership hierarchy, like integrating youths into leadership hierarchy, and also professionalism. One of the things that actually I've already seen, and I've studied several times, is that we shift the blame games of the goalpost, of the blame games here and there to, you have the problem, you are the one who made it do this and that. But I think if I'm going to bring now the question to the panelists, is that we as a youth also too don't have a proper system placed in a place that can be able to integrate youths, you know, like universally, let me say nationally, the way we can let me say, for example, the way now these guys have, I think it's just one of the ministers who came up, he took the idea from one of the boy, which is the National Youth Council. I think one of you guys were here and you know about it. National Youth Council. Are you aware of it? Which right now they have already integrated with CONSA, Metropolis. Are you aware of it? Have you logged into that? Yeah, I know you can't dare to if you're against it. So what we are lacking as a youth, that I think that I'm pointing that finger to my fellow panelists, is that we ourselves, besides relying on the national government and, you know, shifting the goalpost of blame games to them, we have not put on a place a system that can be able also to verify those impacts that we are creating, so that whatever they themselves want to come to must follow the same channel, which is professional and also legal framework. So youths need to go back to the drawing board and come up with a system that either, before we call any stakeholder meeting with the national government, in order to, you know, agree on those certain development initiatives and so on, it should also follow this system. So the system, I'm talking about the system which is owned, youth-owned system. So it's not there. So think of a consortium. Like in organizations, we have a consortium, which is an umbrella that accommodate like different-minded individuals. So the same, I would like to ask you guys, do you, like within your capacity, have a system that we can say that this is the system, whether it's digitally, because now we are using the technology, that we can verify how the communication from your side, yeah, and then to the national government, etc., etc. Is it there? Is it there, you guys? Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks for the question.
Yeah, thank you for those remarks, Dr. Young-Tello. Not yet as straight as that, but we need to come up with such initiatives to counteract, government operations. The way you're saying, government every day is growing more cunning and cunning, like she has mentioned. So there's need for us to walk that path, digitize our operations, make ourselves available as young people, and I know in the shortest time possible, things can change.
And is it all inclusive? Because also we need to, we have different alumni with different ideologies. Do we, like you guys, coming up with something which is all inclusive that accommodates all youth from background?
Yes. We many of the initiatives we have come up with, especially in the grassroots, because I'm myself based in Kakamega, in Western Kenya, is all inclusive. So we aim to bring more people on board. We want to ensure the initiatives we're doing are as broad-based as possible, and not the other broad-based. Yeah.
Thanks a lot. Really enjoying this discussion, and I am so happy that Judith is here. Judith, and please forgive me for butchering any pronunciation. Judith Etienne Oyo is a business professional and advocate for disability inclusion, and what she's been doing is blending her experience in entrepreneurship in her business, which she's going to talk a little about, business development and leadership, blending all of that with a passion for accessibility, equality, and social change. And Judith, as a business leader and as an advocate for disability inclusion specifically, how do we ensure that youth movements or any civic movements are accessible to everyone, especially folks who are coming from marginalized communities?
Thank you so much, and sorry for getting at this point. I had another meeting that was also including the youth. So from today morning until when I'm going to sleep, I'll be talking about us, and that is a nice opportunity. So I'm a small business owner, and I run a small beauty shop, and which has taught me a lot because I was in the banking sector. So a lot of youth came when they were looking for an opportunity or funding or to start their own business. But when you see in the banking sector in our countries, they don't fund a starting business. So that means that the youths are left out because you are from school, or maybe you dropped out of school trying to do 1 or 2, 3 things, and you just need something that maybe a funding that will boost whatever passion you're at in business. But that is denied when it comes to the funding for one to start a business. And when we look at the other part of inclusion, I advocate for the inclusivity being made right from the party level. So we also need to have it right from the party level. When it comes to inclusion, it's something that is still ongoing, and we were talking with different entities in Kenya, and what I came to learn is that we have so many programs in Kenya, but they're not youth inclusive. Because the programs are there, but not so many youths are getting included. And the recent program is the Nyota that is coming from the Ministry of Youth Affairs. That is targeting 70 per ward. So getting 70 per ward, and yet we have 50 to 80 youths who have graduated. We've not talked about the youths who are not able to get to the graduation level, who dropped out of school maybe due to school fee, poverty, or just willingly. We've not talked about that percentage. But now when we get to see on all the programs that are being done, they're still secluding the youths and not having the youths included. So the more we keep on giving out our voices and having this kind of forums and airing them out, the more at least the government gets to know that there's a bigger gap that needs to be filled, because we are youths, we are leaders of today, and they are leaders of yesterday. There's no tomorrow, and tomorrow starts now. Thank you.
Well, really quickly, I want to talk about it. I got a chance to talk with these two about how the artistic expression is woven into the activism, and you you run a nail salon, right? That's art. Tell me about how you use the work you do, your day-to-day work in terms of nails and things like that, to kind of promote activism or promote advocacy around the issues that you care about.
With me, I have a TikTok account, and I'm becoming lazy into updating my LinkedIn account, because all of my things I do it on a TikTok account, and I'm feeling like I need to adjust a bit. But that is where I put my voice. That is where I talk about inclusion. That is where I talk with different people. That is where I create short videos and short clips on my TikTok account, so that at least I can reach different people who are having disabilities, so that I can pass messages that on whatever I've learned, on whatever I know, with people who have no idea on that. And that is the form that I'm using. When it comes to art, art speaks a lot. When I take a photo seated here, somebody may think that I'm a millionaire, because the camera and the position will portray something else that maybe it's not, it is, and will reach a lot of people, will attract. So art really attracts, and that is the way that the system that even the Kenyan youth used it to attract more and more youths, and that is the system that also unites us as Kenyan youths, because we can also get at the music where Bien sang, Octopizzo sang, and people love these songs. And more different, the Gengetones are also singing on something that can unite. So art is something that speaks deeply to youths today, more than the other platforms here.
Thank you for that. We are just about out of time for the panel, unfortunately, but I did have one more thought I'd like you to share. What's one bold step in your mind, and this is for each of you, that Kenya's youth can take to sustain, creative civic action beyond this conference? If you have, all three of you, whoever wants to start can start. But like a parting word for the folks here when they go out into their communities.
Come again, please.
Yep, one bold step Kenya's youth can take to sustain creative civic action beyond this conference.
One bold step is to be part of the of the electoral competitors is to get into these selective positions where it comes to the political spaces, because all the policies are being made in the parliament. Be it the national parliament, be it the county assembly, be it the Senate assembly. Those are where decisions are being made. And it's high time, us as youths, to stop looking at who has money more than us, but who has a great intention for us as youths. That is what I can tell youths today. And also to take their ID, to have their IDs and make sure that they vote.
That's great. Hudson.
Thank you. My thought is that young people must continue telling their stories. And by telling their stories, I mean both blending the traditional, way of communicating and even art, and blending it with modernity or modern art. That way it's easier for them to reach more relatable, to make relatable content to more relatable crowds or audiences. And lastly is to think really about the linkages with partners and men and women who can collaborate to make art really go out there. And I think that for me makes it a sustainable platform for art.
Thanks, Hudson.
I'll say advocacy is just not about making policies, not having just conversations. It's about change. It's about real change. So my call to the young people is be part of this real change that's happening. Take ownership, just like we were told yesterday. Don't let someone tell your story. Tell your story, take ownership of it, and then that is when the real change will happen. Thank you.
All right, and for what it's worth, I think today actually was a bold step for everybody who came out here and spent the last couple of days with us, learning and sharing ideas and things like that. So give yourselves and our panel a big round of applause. Thank you all so much. I'm going to turn it back over to Dwayne. I think we're getting ready to close it out. And again, thank you for having me. I'm thrilled to be here this week.
Give it up again for Judith and Marina and Hudson. And even for George. Thanks for stepping in. Even for George. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So we are coming to the end of our time. And we just really want to express gratitude for you for being here, for contributing, bringing your whole selves, for the work that you have been doing and for the work that you will be doing. So just like a few key takeaways for us, that we tried to impart was just around like the creative expression as a civic tool. So how art and media and storytelling really are powerful vehicles for community engagement and social change. And that we should be thinking about the assets of communities, not just what's wrong with our neighborhoods and what's wrong with our country, but what are the good things that are happening and how can we tie those things so that we can be greater together. Thinking about cross-border collaboration and how we build networks across the continent, across the globe, so that we can amplify voice and make change. And then how do we sustain the work? This is a one-time event, and what's going to happen afterwards, and what planning, what support, et cetera, is going to be needed. With that in mind, just know that the asset mapping exercise that you all did, I was trying to get it organized together for you for this kind of final wrap up, but the Wi-Fi isn't cooperating. But we are going to get all of that back to you. And it's going to be organized based on sector. It'll be like ready to use in whatever way you decide you want to use it. The other thing is around the vision, the activities, the evidence, what you had to overcome. Again, we're going to put it together in a way that you can make sense of it and you can apply it to yourselves and any work that you're going to be doing. So we want to leave those things to you as tools for sure. But then you have each other, which is probably the greatest tool that you have. And I hope that you made a new connection, developed a new relationship, have newfound respect for, you know, someone and some things that you may not have known before. And hopefully that you are, you know, different and better for your time that you spent here. So thank you. So we're just curious, just to capture some high-level takeaways. You are going to be asked, first of all, to complete the survey that you can talk about this experience. The real important reason to make sure you complete the survey is that all those resources that we talked about, you're actually going to receive them via email. So that's why you should definitely do the survey and make sure you include your email address. Another thing is, did y'all like the music that was playing kind of today? We heard some Michael Jackson. Those are your songs. So when we asked you all about who were the what were the songs and the artists that help you be a champion for justice, we captured those songs. We created a playlist, The Art of Dialogue. We'll also send you that playlist on Spotify so that you can have it, and whenever you feel like you need it, put it on and jam on. All right? So just curious, what did y'all think was going to happen when you signed up for this? That's the first question we have. Somebody, it's not going to take long, but just some big takeaway. What did you think? Like, what brought you here? Go ahead, Mike.
A revolution.
You thought a
Table
revolution.
turnings, like now we are going to go, iwe baridi, iwe moto, tunaenda hadi tufike. Like the Exodus.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. We're going to leave here, hit the streets.
Until we reach the promised land.
I like it. All right. What else? What else brought you here? What were you expecting? Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you again for the opportunity. What I was expecting when actually I saw the link, I was expecting that, actually the way I imagine it, but I think we have not reached there yet, but I think it's the same vision that you guys have when I see, when I heard what exactly you guys you gave about what you're doing, you know, the collective impact you're doing in back in the US. Yeah, with the local community. So I had in my mind that this is also, like the way brother says, it's a table turning, a beginning of, you know, alumni meeting over and over, and also bringing more stakeholders from that level of professionalism and also legal academic. Yeah, that's what I saw. So I saw that this opportunity that we can bring all of them, we have a round table, and then we can dialogue, and then we form even a consortium of having this conversation going on until we reach to a capacity that we can tell, now we're going to have you, Raila and Ruto, let me say that for example, on a conversation tonight, or whichever way you can. And then we can be able now to actually, you know, throw our issues on before their faces without any fear. Because I have seen a lot of youths, you have built up this kind of a fear, which you are not supposed to have it. There's something going on, to make it very quick, please, I don't want to go with that message. Around Kenya right now, nationally, which calls it devolution. Devolution is actually nationally trying to, you know, subsidize the national power to the local mwananchi, meaning that everybody, doesn't matter how they are, whatever, they still have the power to exercise the law whichever way they want. But I have issue with the younger generations. Younger generations have not learned, no matter how much institutions with the degrees you have learned and whatever, etc., you still don't know how the system runs. The national government, even the world itself, there's a system that it runs. So if you want actually maybe to bring a change, I want you to go and scratch your head and ask, how does this system run? Beside going on the street and demonstrating and showing your frustrations.
Okay.
There's a way that the system runs. So I think if you guys were going to help us, then we need to have more stakeholders meetings with the key players in politics, and also even stakeholders who can be able also to support the youth to meet these policymakers, because this has been the big issue with them. So they just talk, but they talk like they're talking from the other side of the mountain, and it's not hard at all, and then they throw it back and they say, you're saying nothing.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, so good stuff. And just to reiterate, you had like some really good speakers today. I'm thinking of like, you know, like Shaka and then in the podcast, and like there are folks who are really trying to school folks around how the system works. So I think there's a combination. You need people with wisdom that can help people understand how the system works, and you need the energy that young people bring in order to bring about change. So we have to do this together for sure, but thank you. Yeah, but I'm hearing you want more meetings and you want more connection, and you don't need Amara to organize that. Like, you have each other, and you can, you know, network with each other, host your own meetings, bridge those gaps. I mean, you don't need, like, you got each other and you have yourselves, so you don't need someone to do it. So just, you know, please just know that as well.
We are the ones responsible.
Yeah. Yep.
So I think after this, maybe we can have a coffee, and then we talk on how the coffee will run. Yeah, systematically, and that's why I'm wearing this great hat. Let me see how we move forward.
Okay. Thanks. So we, you know, wanted to hear again, like, why you came, what you thought was going to happen. What actually did happen? Tell us how you experienced the Art of Dialogue the last couple of days. What happened? Yeah, wait. First, I see right here, Akana.
Okay, thank you. For me, when I came, I didn't have an idea that I'll be able to learn about the dynamics on governance. And for now, I can confidently say that I have understand how policies, how governance is going, and how to position yourself in a way that you become competitive and solve the problems in our communities.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's good. I love that there's more understanding of that. I want to throw it back to Judith. Okay. So Judith, how about you?
The key thing that I learned from yesterday, and I was so happy that I found the panelists who were there, is how to tell our own story in the best language we understand. Because even Nelson Mandela said that if you talk to a man in his language, you talk to his heart. So that is a key thing, that even if we are driving art to our different areas, especially in the rural areas, because we from the urban areas, we get a lot of information. So the key thing is also reach out to your rural area, uko ushago, I've said in the rural areas in Kiswahili, so that at least the people can also get to learn whatever we are learning here, and they can hear it in their own native language, so that they can really understand it much deeper. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
Hi, everyone. The first thing I learned, in fact, when I came here yesterday, I was not part of this dialogue. I came to meet the coordinator about the wellness initiative I run on Resilient Sisters, and it's about telling resilient stories to create emotional resilience in women, and to help children who are suffering from speech delay. So, and we use storytelling to tell our stories. The thing that I learned here, and it's very important, is how to tell authentic stories, how to brand myself, and how to use AI to scale my work. because we use ChatGPT and all. So I remember one comment yesterday about if you can take the whole constitution and put it in AI, and you can ask it, we can, what is it? We can use it to help us to know how it can work for us, yeah, in what we do. So I also have a question that I wrote. I wanted to address to Helena, like with Resilient Sisters, we focus on empowering women through storytelling and community events. The challenge is always making sure the impact lasts beyond the event itself. From your experience, what's the most effective way to turn that initial spark into real long-term change? Yeah, thank you. The question, from your experience, what's the most effective way to turn that initial spark into real long-term change? Yeah.
Our stories, I don't tell their story, sorry. I let these women share their stories. Let's say a fistula survivor has undergone the reconstructive surgery and is now back to her normal life. Whenever we have a gathering about awareness creation about maternal health and fistula awareness creation, I take that woman as a champion. So she will just come and tell her story, because when she shares that story, it's more relatable because she's part and parcel of this community. She speaks their language, she dresses the same. So I let them tell their own story, so they own their story. I think it's easier to deal with lived experiences than me sharing their stories and I have not undergone the same.
Yeah, a few seconds. I'll just wanted to just add something on whatever you're doing, which is so much quite important. Telling a story is also healing, a form of healing. That's why you find so many women live for a longer period, because they're able to talk. So whenever keeping the program and maintaining it so that it can keep on running is also keeping on having it and making sure that the ones who have healed, you don't stop communicating to them, but also still have the community at large. And that also helps new people who are getting to hear from you, so that they can be able, okay, so this is normal, and I can speak about it. And it also helps a lot of people to come out and open up. So like we tell stories about people with disability most of the time on TikTok. So you find not so many people are quite able to tell their stories or even to say who they are to the community, because they feel like disability is like a curse. So they don't want to talk about it. So when they find a platform where they can speak about it, and these people are just speaking about it without having any fears and seeing whatever you guys are doing, it has made a lot of people to also come back into my inbox and tells me that I have this kind of a kid, and most especially are women having kids with disability. And they find a comfortable space where they can speak and also get to know much more information on what they can do with their kids and how they can work with them, and also on how they can also keep on educating them and giving them a chance into the community. Yeah, thank you.
Last word here.
Okay, so first of all, this has been very insightful. Like, I've learned so much. I'm very glad I participated regardless. Thank you all.
The last 2 days here. Couple of words and let's keep it moving, and we don't have to pass the mic. But what was really valuable, or like, next time this happens, definitely do that again. Let's hear it. The final discussion? The panel discussions. Okay.
You've just said you'll share the music on Spotify. I was asking, well, is it editable? Because there are some songs like Through the Day I've had like I just want to be high. It can trigger wrong motives.
Yeah, we're going to make it a collaborative list. You can continue to add to it. Okay? Anything else? What else? What else did you love? We love the Spotify playlist. We love the panel. What else?
I wanted to say the activities that we did in the morning, it was really engaging. And then the fact that after discussing, you moved to the next table and discussed the other group's questions. That was really engaging. When you did such a good work in the morning, that was actually my favorite segment.
Awesome. Thank you. Anything else? Yes.
The meals and refreshments.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Yep. All right, now, what would you change? What suggestions do you have for next time? It's okay. Like, we have to learn, right? So what would you do differently? Anything at all? Add more days. Okay, longer. What else? Yes.
For me, I love how the session was informative, and as I get out of that door, natoka venye nilikam different. So I'll go home as an artist who's ready to tell stories that inspire change and bring change not only politically but socially and economically.
Love it. All right. Yes. Last two. Here we go.
I think what we can improve on, or maybe what we can do next, is besides just coming here and leaving, maybe for keeps purposes and for souvenirs, we can have some things inscripted, the art of dialogue. For the memories. Yes, yes. Yes, and maybe certificate of participation or something.
Okay, mine is just a comment. Like I'm living here a different person, because when I came here, I didn't have that courage of speaking about myself. But when I'm living here now, I know the reason why I need to speak about myself, and it's through the encouragement I got it from you and Amara. So as much as we want to have these sessions as more as frequent as we can, maybe I know because of maybe sponsoring and maybe partnership, we can be having them at least maybe after 2 months, so that we can reflect back on whatever we had discussed before. Has any of them been actualized or been implemented, so that we can move now to the next one. So it's like a continuous civic engagement and policy making. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. I want to pass it to my partners here.
Okay. I remember when I was just having a conversation with Clinton, and he began to really open my eyes to a lot of the shared problems we have, and how that we can have this cross-cultural exchange, because a lot of times I was even sharing with him how that most of the ones we know is that we have to maybe travel to the United States and all of that, but what about having it amongst Africans, where we have this cultural exchange? You travel to Nigeria. I was discussing with Michael. Michael said he had watched our movies to the point that if he gets to Nigeria for the first time, he won't get lost. He knows all the roads through our movies. I mean, that's so interesting to know. It shows how much you admire and you love our movies, and we are thankful for that. So we could have those exchanges. I could travel to those areas. You know, it was like, you mentioned some areas, Kisumu. You know, we could travel to those places and have fun, eat different foods. I told them that I had one wife, and they said, you should have more. So maybe I could come now and add more wives, who knows? You know, you just learn a lot of things, but it's so beautiful to have these shared experiences, and I think we should keep the conversation going. And he's even invited us, Dwayne, I don't know, I'm sure you'll be open for that. He's invited us to come speak to the cancer survivors' rights. Yep. Let's see how we can have these conversations. I really want to explore. I'll be traveling back on Monday, but this, I wish I could extend, right? But I want to see how I can maximize these few days. I want to see how we can go to Kibera, I want to go to the Maasai markets. I want to see the market, I want to see the university. Amara is taking us to National Park on Friday. So these are areas I really want to explore. And please, you can invite me to your homes. Let me come and eat more ugali, you know.
We plant trees also with some
Plant
orphans.
trees.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
We plant
great.
trees with some orphans, which is also going to be an educational. Because everything, youth, what I want to leave you with, which is actually also like a parting shot, be intentional. The problem with most of youth are not intentional. Whatever you're doing, whether you're just taking a photo, be intentional. This is how I've been working. Meaning that if the way I'm requesting His Excellency, my brother here and the fellow panelists, we go, we plant trees. My intention there is because I love educating the younger children. Children, everything that they see, they learn something out of it. So me, as an ambassador of children mostly, because I'm an ambassador of children in terms of environmental education. So I want to use that photo to be able to inspire, just inspiration. That's my intention only. So you also go outside there and know that there's not anybody to blame. The solution is you. You are the light, bring the light. If you don't know how to power that light on, please shut up.
Amazing, amazing. Yeah.
Wow, wow, wow. What an amazing session we've had the past 2 days. I hope that each and every one of you really did see this as a momentum for you to keep the conversation going. Because when we came together, this started as an idea. And seeing this into fruition is beyond our expectations. Because we realize that more than ever, the conversation needs to keep going. We need to come together and keep this going. Each and every one of you has a mandate to ensure that you are keeping the art of dialogue alive. So before you leave, make sure that you do fill the QR code to give us the feedback on how we can be able to improve, change, add, make your suggestions, ideas, and add some knowledge as well, because we're here to learn too from you. All right? And as you do that, thank you, Alice, for your feedback. But yes, everybody who did register and gives your feedback will get the certification of participation. All right?
All right.
So you'll notice that most of the particular QR codes and links, we've mostly been using art, because art is a fundamental basis for this particular segment. Each and every person here has art in them. And we have had so many different partners come together with us, and we cannot leave without saying thank you to each and every one of you. The first partners that have come in here are you, our participants. You are amazing.
That's right.
Thank you for being here with us and ensuring that this project has been a success. To those who are watching online, thank you so much for joining with us and ensuring that this conversation will keep going. Ensure to scan the QR code. We'll also send that as a feedback towards your particular participation. There are some people who never showed up today, but were there yesterday. And these 2 past days have just been phenomenal. There are those who have joined us today, and we are grateful to have had this particular day. So the space is open because it's a youth platform. And American Corner is one of our partners as well. We thank them for hosting us on this particular venue. So thank you, American Spaces, and the team with Boniface Muli, who's been our coordinator. Shout out to you. Thank you so much. We have the team with Film Fupi, who have ensured that we have food. We have everything that we need in terms of just ensuring that they're mobilizing and keeping everybody with their water. You know, everybody who's doing the little things, those are key members. So anyone who's directed someone on where they can go to the loo, on where they can get water, tea, we're grateful for you. Thank you for the Film Fupi members.
Thank you.
Those who are taking our videos and photography, we are grateful for you. You guys are amazing. We are online, we are live, and we are creating change with people who weren't even here. So you can imagine the scope of what this can do. So when you leave this space, ensure that you continue the conversation and ensure that you are having that connection. We're here to collaborate. we're here to educate, and we're here to connect. So before you leave, make sure you connect with each and every person, because one connection could lead to 10 more. And finally, of course, my team here, we've been working on this for quite a number of months. So to see this go through, I want to thank you, Zion.
Thank you.
It's been amazing to a point where, yeah, we're almost getting to that level where we are off the mountaintop, because everything that we have discussed has superseded our imagination and our understanding. It's just been beyond. So thank you so much, George Jackson as well. Thank you. And
one more thing, please. I promised that I was going to do one thing, right? Yeah. You remember my promise, right? Yeah. You know, it's easy to appreciate people and then you don't appreciate yourself. But it's okay. But then let the people do the appreciation, right? Amara has been so wonderful. Now, of course, we planned this together. But imagine if we came here and we didn't get this so much hospitality. Our stay wouldn't be convenient, right? And would be looking. I was telling some people that I wish I could stop time so that I would just be here for a long time. She has been such an amazing host. She has been such an amazing organizer. So can we please give her a rousing ovation? Ovation, please. She deserves it. She deserves it. She has deprived herself of sleep for days. There are times, if I said yesterday, she was taking us back to the apartment, and she said, was it the first day she was almost sleeping on the wheel? You can imagine how one would risk her life just to bring this into fruition. And how much is she getting from this? No dime, but just a heart willing to make change. So one more time, let's celebrate this amazing lady. Thank you. Dwayne, I celebrate you so much. You've been an amazing person, a fantastic team lead. We appreciate and we celebrate you. George, wherever he is, we thank you so much for your insight. We appreciate you. Muli, when I heard about Muli, I thought I was expecting to see one elderly person. I came and saw a young man, young, handsome dude. Please help me celebrate Muli. Thank you so much, and every one of you. It's been a pleasure. As I go back to Nigeria, you've left me with beautiful memories. These memories will last throughout my lifetime. Honestly, you've been so welcoming, and I don't take it for granted. Those of you whose numbers of collecting, I want to collect more, I would ensure I keep in touch. That I promise you. Thank you so much. And Asante Sani. Thank you.
Of course, I do want to also thank the Youth Film Platform Africa. Thank you so much for being partners and ensuring that everything that did go through yesterday when it comes to the panelists and the art and the activism was on point. Thank you so much to Rachel, our speakers, our keynote speakers, each and every person who has been here. We are really, really grateful for you. Every volunteer who has been there, Della, Martha, each and every one of you are amazing. Cyril, thank you for the posts, ensuring that every single panelist is out there. Nelly, thank you for the social media engagement. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sean, for ensuring that each and every videography is the way it's supposed to be. Thank you, Joe, for ensuring that the people here did get the message. Thank you so much. June has been taking our photos and ensuring that they're released in time. So if you go to our social media, you will see real-time photos since yesterday. So we have an amazing team here. Daisy from American Spaces, thank you so much for ensuring that each and every person can be able to scan the QR code. You're amazing. Thank you, Habiba. Habiba, thank you so much for just being a bubbly person and inquisitive and just even wanting to know more and beyond the program. I'm really grateful for each and every one of you. Those who just heard about the program, Christabel, thank you for coming, you know? So grateful to you, and we cannot be more grateful without mentioning Citizen Diplomacy Action Fund, which has ensured that you have food to eat, you have viewership, you have each and every person who is a collaborator here with you. So we are all a team. We are all in an umbrella, and we are the change. So let's make sure that we are purposeful, because that is what is holding us all together. So thank you. And with that, unless there's another word, ensure to
scan the QR code. We'll have a group picture right outside. If you haven't taken a picture with the banner for Art of Dialogue, make sure you do. A lot of art was, and a lot of sacrifice was taken into ensuring that that was created. And don't forget to sign the QR code. Post, follow. We have each and every platform live, so make sure that you do. And now I can bid you goodbye. You're free to connect after this. So thank you, everyone. And with that, this is the end of Art of Dialogue. Thank you.